Welcome to November. Justin, it's the time that everybody definitely cannot wait for if you're a bow hunter, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, end of October is definitely great, but I mean, there is nothing better than when that calendar flips over to November 1st. I mean, if you're a whitetail hunter, guys, these next couple weeks is certainly what we live for. And Todd, you know, you certainly wasted no time in November shooting a nice buck.
Tagged out. And you know what? It's kind of funny because I was at the hunt club today and someone said to me, geez, Todd, you know, how do you feel being tagged out? And, you know, and it's got to be 35-mile-an-hour winds out there right now. I said, you know what? I looked around and I said, I'm feeling pretty good because I wouldn't want to be in a tree today, and I would be if I didn't have that second buck tag filled. So.
Yeah, definitely. We were having some windy conditions here, but, you know, the deer are still moving. I mean, if you guys are watching the forums or watching social media, it is definitely lighting up with a lot of great bucks out there. So let's stop talking, Todd. Let's hop right into your hunt. I mean, this is one of your best hunts, I think, ever. Certainly one of the most exciting and most enjoyable. So let's check it out now.
Well, good morning. I'm hunting up really high today. They're not calling for high winds. The wind is out of the northeast. I'm hoping that these thermals will take my scent up. Most of the food is down below, and the deer are working their way. Right up to me. I already had 2 doe and a buck go by grunting in the dark. It was pretty dark, a smaller buck. This particular spot is a little bit of a shelf. The deer seem to like get up here and they can oversee everything. A lot of rubs here. Not a lot of scrapes, but good rubs. Nice area. Apparently that buck doesn't know the rut's on.
You know, Justin, one thing that I want to point out that has kind of been new for me for this year is I've really been focusing in on where the deer are actually sleeping and bedding. I mean,
well, not just the deer. I mean, the does specifically.
Specifically the does. I mean, bucks and does generally don't, you know, bed in exactly the same spots. They usually do different things.
They're smart, right? You don't have to worry about whose side of the bed and encroaching. I get it.
That is true. That is true. But specifically, what I was doing here, Justin, is I had 2 just awesome hunts this year, finding where those does are bedding, getting as close as I can to them. And I'm telling you, you know, when it comes to this time of the year, as you said to me the other day when you were out hunting, those bucks just know where those does are and where they're bedding. So stop saying, hey, that area over there is a bedding area, but find those specific spots where they're bedding and get set up.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've been out and watched bucks come and actually go right into a specific area where they know those does are laying down at. I saw it last year and I saw it again this year. I had a 1.5-year-old buck come by me, and sure enough, I mean, I had seen does on 2 different occasions bed down near my stand, and he literally beelined for those 2 specific locations, didn't find any does, and left. So I mean, yeah, I mean, the doe bedding areas is certainly where you want to key in. So let's get back to Todd's hunt now.
Well, that was definitely a pretty decent morning. I mean, matter of fact, I didn't stand up one time because all these deer were bedded down and moving around until 10 o'clock. It's the first time I was able to stand up. And one buck came and bedded down with this 3-year-old buck that's down here. I don't know if I captured the footage or not, but he was growling unbelievable and just roaring. It was awesome. But he's just not one of my hit listers, so I'm going to pull out of here right now. Just how saying one of my hit listers wasn't here. He just showed up down here and scared this one away. Here I'm getting ready to leave for come up with my afternoon plan, and one of my shooters shows up. Chased away that smaller buck, which gave me a perfect shot right here. But unfortunately the big one ran that doe low and she didn't come up. Oh man. That is what I'm talking about, guys. Right there. 12 o'clock. I saw that buck at 10:30. I was thinking about getting down and moving, and sure enough, I just saw him come in. There was another buck down there just going to town, grunting and stuff. I hung in there, and sure enough, it paid off. Oh, man, that arrow flew perfect. Oh, well, guys, November 1st, finally, actually you can hear the siren going off for noon right now. I shot that buck at about 11:40. I had a feeling they were going to finally get up on top of this ridge top. I mean, there's been a lot of deer bedding up here, and they finally worked their way up to the bottom. He was down there earlier tending a doe, but finally he decided to let her go, came back up top, and man, oh man, he worked out perfect. That one buck, I grunted a little bit, and that lured him right in. The bigger buck was a little concerned, like, he wasn't totally pumped about running over here. So he ended up jetting up this way, 30-yard shot, made a good shot. Nice buck. Oh man, unbelievable bow hunting year here. Just unbelievable for me. The ups and downs of bow hunting, man, it just keeps you coming back for more. It's just amazing. This is right where I shot my deer. Behind me is my stand. 99% positive he's laying right over here. But I want to follow my steps here, see if I can find my blood and my arrow and everything like that. So let's go ahead and see if we can find him. Blood. Oh, well guys, I shot this awesome buck here. Oh man, what do I say? Bow hunt or die. Awesome Illinois giant. 11:40 this morning, guys. You know what? You just gotta stay put. When the action's going on, stay in your stand. That's about the best advice I can give you. I mean, it's hard to have those long sits. Honestly, I got in the stand an hour before light easily this morning, and I did not stand once until 10:30. It was the first time I was able to stand because the does were bedding literally right below me. This awesome buck came in. It was one of the bucks on the hit list. Definitely wasn't passing up this awesome shooter. I mean, he's just a great, nice, big Illinois whitetail. I mean, man, I'll tell you what, 28 yards, my Maxima Kill Zone Max combo did the trick. I mean, literally this buck didn't go more than, I would say, 50 yards. My stand literally is right behind me. So, man, bow hunt or die. A lot of season. It's only November 1st. Got a lot of season left. Plenty of deer out there. So just stick with it. Hold the line on your plans and stay in your stands, guys. Oh man, what a great buck.
You know, Justin, I gotta tell you, I mean, around 10:30, I was starting to worry whether or not a big one was gonna show up. And I'll tell you what, I took my top camera down, and sure enough, I looked down there and there he is. So something happened down there. Either they realized that doe just wasn't ready or what, but sure enough, here they came.
Yeah, those bucks just started coming back. And I think that's one thing for a lot of people to keep in mind. I mean, during the rut, if you're hunting these really good bedding areas, these deer are going to move around within those bedding areas during the day. They may not be traveling long distances, say early in October, like they're going to be maybe now or through mid-October, but they're definitely going to get up and they're going to move around a couple times during the day, like we saw during this hunt here with various deer bedding down, getting up and moving. And you hang in there long enough and man, it just seems like a big one just wants, the deer just want to walk by Todd for some reason.
Oh, here we go.
He's like a magnet. Maybe I should go hunting with you after all.
You know what? I offered to take Justin for a day hunting, and you know what? I got turned down.
Because
I actually got turned down.
Could you guys imagine
wanna hear this.
if Todd took you out hunting to a stand that he hung somewhere and
here
you
we
shot a deer, if you would ever hear the end of it for the rest of your life? Probably not. So in my mind, I'm doing it myself this weekend. It's getting done. But enough about me. Todd, congrats, buddy. 32 yards, smoked him. And as you guys saw, the blood trail from that kill zone was pretty amazing.
I came back 4 or 5 hours to shoot some photo stuff, and I could still follow the same blood trail. It was that big. But anyhow, with that being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump in the woods with Dalton, see how he does.
Alright guys, it's October 10th. We got a little cold front coming in this weekend. It's Friday night right now. Just got out of school, headed out to the woods. We're kind of after a doe tonight, so no shooters have showed up on this farm yet, but they usually do later in the year, so we'll see what happens. We're gonna select a doe if she comes out though, so stay with us. Bowhunt or die. Bucks in the food plot right now. Combined total probably 200, 220 inches. They both need at least another year. It's fun to see them though, they're tearing up that food plot. It's a buck parade tonight. We just need about 145 more inches on one of their heads. And it'll be game on. Stay with us. Best night so far. Bowhunt or die, baby. Baby. Finally got it done, just smoked a doe. We've had deer all over us. Bucks have been coming out in this food plot like crazy, so we've been filming them and nothing big enough. Had a nice mature doe come out, and I just smoked her. She was a tad high, but lots of blood, and she went down right inside the timber, so we're gonna give her a minute, but we'll go recover her with light. Here's the arrow. Complete pass through. I mean, those kill zones are mean. There's a really good blood trail. Got good blood on the arrow, so we're gonna take it. We're gonna go find this girl. And we're gonna eat good. Alright, you see the blood starts instantly right where she was shot. I see her already. Smoked her. She's laying right down here. There she is. Awesome shot. Double lunged her. She didn't go 30, 35 yards. Those kill zones did the job. Couldn't be any happier with tonight. Saw 3 up and comers early. This doe came out about 30, 35 minutes later. And we smoked her. So, happy hunter tonight. Bowhunt or die.
Well, Todd, that was a great, first hunt submission from Dalton down there in Missouri. That doe came in. He made a perfect shot on her. Good recovery. I mean, that's definitely what you're looking for when you want to fill the freezer.
Yeah, and it's always fun to see the new guys be successful. And I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, how can you not be kind of inspecting their whole setup. I mean, the food pot looks fantastic. You know, they had 2 smaller bucks in there. I think it's just a matter of time till a big boy shows up there.
Yeah, and with these high winds and rain and snow coming, that ground blind is probably looking pretty good to those guys right about now. So I guess next up, we're going to fly up north to Wisconsin. We're going to check in with Craig Roffers, who's actually using a buck decoy in late October.
All right, guys, October 28th here in Wisconsin. It's our third day, third morning here. We've had some good luck so far. Yesterday it really warmed up. It hit 75 degrees, which is really weird for late October. But this morning it's cooled down about 25 degrees from last night, so we're hoping the deer are back on their feet. We're going to use the decoy this morning. We're going to hunt down in our bull stand, and we had a lot of luck there last year, just couldn't put it all together. So stick with us. We'll see you in the stand in a bit. Bowhunt.
It's a little bit breezy, but it's coming from the food to the bedding area, and we're in between, so we're down in this bottom, so it's a little bit less windy here than up on top. So hopefully the deer are going to funnel through here and see the decoy that we got out at 30 yards. We got down to out of the tree and checked the stealth cams. About an hour and a half ago, we went to get a bite to eat. Now we're back in the tree. We saw a bunch of deer out in the fields while we were getting lunch, so they're moving. So stick with us. We need a big boy to do the same thing as that little guy did this morning. So, Bowhunt or die. He's a 2.5. We got him on all our trail cams, but come right into 20 yards broadside for a good minute. Hopefully there's another one on top of the ridge. I'll come down. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Craig, look. He was just up on his hind legs. Definitely heating up in Wisconsin here. We just need a big boy to do that. I'm a little shaky.
Well, that was a great hunt, from Jeff and Craig up there in Wisconsin, Todd. As we saw, buck decoy, late October, they certainly can work. They're just waiting for the right buck to come in.
Well, and Justin, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you and I spent a lot of time talking about decoys, and I mean, how is it not cool to buy a decoy and have a decoy in your truck? And I mean, the thought of using them, it always crosses my mind, and I've done it with some success in the past. I can't say that I've ever killed a deer doing it. I mean, I have with smaller bucks, but I just haven't had that opportunity with the big buck, and sometimes I just get freaked out because the does get freaked out.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's definitely a hit or miss thing. I've used mine a couple times this year, and it's weird because I had some does that literally freaked out and blew at it and ran the other way, and then I had other does that just didn't care. So, it's really the individual deer. You never know how they're going to react. That was some cool footage those guys got. Man. I'm really pulling for Jeff and Craig up there to come through and get a buck.
They're on a dry spell.
They are working harder than anybody up there to try to kill a deer. So, hopefully they're going to get one on the ground this year. Next up, Todd, I guess we're going to thank the people who sent in their trophy photos for this week. We actually had quite a number of trophy submissions this year. And some of the people even typed out their names for us so we knew how to spell them, which we certainly do appreciate. So here's the 4 lucky people who we selected for this week's show. Jennifer Kilborn.
BJ Zembus.
Colton Peterson.
And Andy Chichon. Hey, if you'd like to see yourself right here on an exciting episode of Bowhunt or Die, don't waste any time. Send in your photos either through our Facebook page or, of course, our website. Justin, there's a lot of hunting left. It's only November, and I don't know, I guess a couple things that I want to add to this episode that I know I'm going to be thinking about for next year for sure, because you and I were just having that conversation in the break room about stand sets. And I know for next year, as a part of my arsenal, I'm going to do a better job at setting up spots for these ridiculous winds and the crazy weather. You just don't think about that stuff. You think stand here, but you forget about the 20 and 30 mile an hour winds that, quite frankly, just don't make for good tree stand sets.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, I feel like every year I'm learning more, but then there's years where I feel like, gosh, what did I do differently this year than last year? We had a ton of high winds last year, and we had this exact same problem, and I still failed to really set up a lot of good spots for these windy days. Of course, I got a couple places that I'm going to be able to go hunt and get out there, and you never know what's going to happen, but they're certainly not my optimal spots. So, I mean, next year, I'm definitely going to do a better job at having a few more stand sites to select from, given some of these winds. But, guys, it's still the first week in November. We've got a good 10 to 15 days of pretty hard running activity ahead of us. I mean, if you guys can get out there, if you want to sit all day, now's the time to do it, man. I got 4 days coming up that I'm literally planning on sitting in a tree for 4 days straight, if possible, and to try and kill one of these deer because they're just moving all day.
Well, okay, so I guess with final tips to be thinking about for this week. A lot of you tune in on Fridays to watch the show, and hopefully you gain some knowledge here to prepare you for the upcoming time. So with that being said, number one, I think now is the time when you sit as long as you can. You know what? Look at my buck, 11:44, guys. I mean, you know what? If you're in a stand and you're having action, and just because the buck that you want to shoot doesn't come through, I think you need to stay with it, number one. Number two, scents. Great time to absolutely use scents. I'm not talking about going to scrapes now and setting up on scrapes, but trail scents.
Yeah.
You know what? You get that buck that's cruising. Right, definitely. How about you, Justin? You throw two in there.
Well, I mean, speaking of the scents, the Tink 69, I'm going to be using a prolific amount of it this weekend. I mean, it's been the best-selling, best deer scent that you can buy, period, for 40 years, and that's for a reason. So I carry my little hot shot with me, and I literally just blast that stuff into the air periodically.
Well, and if you get the wind doing some, squirrely stuff, it's just a great way to cover, up
so scent. Like you said, scents. But I mean, as far as stand setups, doe bedding areas we talked about. I mean, you want to be in the thick of the doe bedding areas. These bucks are going to be literally going doe bedding to doe bedding to doe bedding to doe bedding all day long, looking for these does. And the last thing is going to be travel corridors. If you're not in the doe bedding area, how are they getting?
You may not own that property or have access to that property or who knows what. So just knowing that you're on a good buck travel corridor.
Yeah. How are they getting from bedding area to bedding area? Good pinch points and good funnels is another great spot. And just, be in the woods. Pack a lunch. I got some Lunchables. I got some water. I got some energy drinks. I'm ready to go, man. Let's do it.
Well, with that being said, we hope you have a great time in the woods. This next week should be a good one. Other than that, we'll see you next Friday for another episode of Bowhunt or Die. In the meantime, don't forget to check out facebook.com/bowhunting for daily updates, news, photos, and other exciting information. We want to hear your opinions and your stories, so join us now and like us on Facebook.
All right. Any questions before we begin?
What is the name of the
Welcome to sweet old November. You know what? If you're a bow hunter, this is the month, huh, Justin? I mean,
Hopefully. I don't
well,
know. Sweet old November.
Jennifer Claiborne.
Is it Claiborne?
I don't know how you say it.
Isn't it Kyleborn?